Many people spend years trying to grow their money, yet they feel like nothing ever changes. They work harder, save a little when they can, and sometimes even try different financial strategies they hear about online. But despite all that effort, real progress feels painfully slow. The truth is that most people are following advice that keeps them stuck for years. They focus on small tricks instead of understanding the simple principle that actually grows money over time. And because of that, they miss the one strategy that could completely change their financial future. In this video, we're going to reveal the fastest way to grow your money, something that 99% of people completely ignore. The reason most people struggle to grow their money is not because they are lazy or unwilling to work hard. In fact, many people work extremely hard every single day. The real problem is that the financial system most people live in makes it very difficult to build real momentum with money. One of the biggest obstacles is low savings. For many people, by the time they receive their paycheck, most of it is already spoken for. Rent or mortgage payments take a large portion. Then there are utilities, groceries, transportation, and other basic living expenses. After all of these bills are paid, there is often very little money left to save. Even when someone wants to save, they might only be able to put aside a small amount, $10 here, $20 there. While saving something is always better than saving nothing, these small amounts can make progress feel extremely slow. When people don't see meaningful growth in their savings, they often feel discouraged and eventually stop trying altogether. Another major reason people struggle to grow their money is bad financial habits. Many of these habits are not intentional. They develop slowly over time and often come from the environment people grow up in. For example, many people are used to spending money as soon as they receive it. When a paycheck arrives, the first thought is often about what needs to be paid or what can be purchased. Modern life also encourages constant spending. Advertisements appear everywhere, on phones, on social media, on television, and even while browsing the internet. These messages constantly suggest that happiness comes from buying something new. A new phone, new clothes, a nicer car, or the latest gadget. Over time, this creates a habit where money flows out just as quickly as it comes in. Even people with decent incomes can find themselves living paycheck to paycheck, simply because spending has become automatic. The third reason people struggle financially is wrong advice. There is an overwhelming amount of financial information online today. Some of it is helpful, but much of it is confusing or unrealistic. Many people hear advice that sounds good in theory, but doesn't actually work for their situation. For example, some advice suggests quick tricks or shortcuts that promise fast financial success. Others promote complicated strategies that require large amounts of money to begin with. When people try these approaches and don't see results, they often feel frustrated and believe that growing money is only possible for the wealthy. Because of this, many hardworking individuals end up feeling stuck. They continue working, paying bills, and repeating the same financial patterns year after year without seeing meaningful progress. But the truth is that growing money is not about working harder or chasing complicated strategies. It comes from understanding a simple principle that most people overlook. And once that principle becomes clear, the entire way someone thinks about money can begin to change. The truth about growing money is surprisingly simple, yet most people completely overlook it. When people think about growing their money, they often imagine complicated strategies. They think about risky investments, secret tricks, or special opportunities that only wealthy people know about. But in reality, the fastest way to grow money is not about complexity. It's about consistency and time working together. This is the principle that 99% of people ignore. Many people focus on trying to make a large amount of money all at once. They look for shortcuts that promise quick results. Sometimes they chase risky opportunities hoping to multiply their money quickly. But most of the time, these strategies either fail or create even bigger financial problems. What truly grows money is something much more powerful: consistent progress over time. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment or trying to make one big move, the people who succeed financially focus on small actions repeated again and again, saving regularly, investing small amounts consistently, allowing time for their money to slowly grow. At first, the progress can seem almost invisible. The numbers may increase slowly, and it may feel like nothing significant is happening. This is where many people lose patience. They stop saving, they stop investing. They assume the strategy doesn't work. But what they don't realize is that money has a powerful ability to grow when it is given enough time. This growth accelerates gradually, almost like a snowball rolling down a hill. In the beginning, the snowball is small. It moves slowly and collects only a little snow. But as it continues rolling, it becomes larger and begins to gather more snow much faster. Money works in a very similar way. The earlier someone starts building this habit of consistent growth, the more powerful the results become over time. The people who build wealth rarely rely on sudden financial breakthroughs. Instead, they build systems that allow their money to grow steadily and predictably. This idea may not sound exciting or dramatic, which is exactly why so many people ignore it. But the truth is that simple financial habits, repeated consistently over many years, can create results that once seemed impossible. And once someone understands this principle, growing money becomes far less mysterious and far more achievable. To understand how this idea works, it helps to look at a simple example. Imagine two people who both want to grow their money. The first person waits for the perfect moment to start. They tell themselves that they will begin saving and investing once they earn more money, once their life becomes less busy, or once they feel more financially comfortable. Years pass, and they continue waiting. The second person takes a different approach. Instead of waiting, they start with whatever they have. Even if the amount is small, they begin putting aside money regularly. Maybe it's $20 a week, maybe it's $50 a month. At first, the difference between these two people may seem very small. The first person still has their full paycheck to spend, while the second person is setting aside small amounts that barely seem significant. But over time, something important begins to happen. The person who started early begins building momentum. Each small contribution adds to the total amount of money they already have. As time passes, that money can begin to grow through interest, investments, or other financial opportunities. The growth might start slowly, almost unnoticed. But the key factor here is consistency. Let's imagine that someone saves just $50 every month. At first, that might not seem like much. In a single year, that adds up to $600. For many people, $600 might not feel life-changing. But what happens if that habit continues year after year? After 5 years, that person has saved $3,000. After 10 years, $6,000. And if that money is placed in an investment that grows over time, the amount can increase even more. This is where the concept becomes powerful. Money doesn't only grow from the amount you add. It also grows from the growth that has already happened. In other words, your money begins to generate more money. At first, the increases might be small, but over time, the effect becomes stronger and stronger. This is often called the snowball effect. Just like a snowball rolling down a hill gathers more snow and grows larger, money that is consistently saved and invested can begin to grow faster as the years pass. Another way to understand this is by comparing small daily habits. Imagine someone decides to improve their health by exercising for just 10 minutes a day. On the first day, the change may feel small. But if they continue that habit every day for months or years, the long-term results can be dramatic. Money works in a similar way. Small actions, repeated consistently, can create powerful results over time. The people who succeed financially often understand this simple principle. They focus less on trying to make a huge financial move and more on building steady habits that move them forward little by little. Instead of waiting for the perfect opportunity, they begin where they are and allow time to do the rest. And over time, those small decisions can grow into something much larger than they ever expected. Understanding how money grows is important, but knowledge alone is not enough. What truly makes a difference is taking small, practical actions that can be repeated consistently over time. The good news is that growing your money does not require complicated strategies. In fact, the most effective steps are often very simple. The first step is becoming aware of where your money currently goes. Many people never take the time to look carefully at their spending. Money moves in and out of their account automatically, and at the end of the month, they wonder why there is so little left. Taking just a few minutes each week to review your bank transactions can make a huge difference. When you clearly see where your money is going, it becomes much easier to make intentional decisions about how to use it. The second step is creating a small but consistent saving habit. You don't need a large amount of money to start. Even a small amount set aside regularly can begin building the habit that leads to long-term financial growth. For example, setting aside $20 or $50 each week may not feel dramatic at first, but the goal is not immediate transformation. The goal is to create a system that continues working month after month and year after year. Consistency is more powerful than large but irregular actions. The third step is separating savings from spending. One of the easiest ways to do this is by placing saved money in a different account. When savings are mixed with everyday spending money, it becomes very tempting to use them. By moving money into a separate account, you create a small barrier that protects those funds and allows them to grow. The fourth step is allowing your money to work for you. Saving money is important, but letting it sit without growth can limit its potential. Over time, placing savings into simple investment tools, such as index funds or long-term investment accounts, can help that money grow more effectively. The key here is not trying to guess the perfect investment or chasing risky opportunities. Instead, it's about steady and patient growth. Small contributions made consistently over time can produce powerful results. The fifth step is continuing to learn about money. Financial knowledge compounds in the same way money does. The more you understand about budgeting, saving, investing, and debt management, the better decisions you can make. Reading books, watching educational videos, or following reliable financial resources can slowly improve your financial awareness, and that awareness gives you more control over your future. Finally, it's important to remember that growing your money is not about perfection. There will be months where saving feels difficult. Unexpected expenses will appear. Plans will sometimes need to change. What matters most is returning to the habit and continuing the process. Small financial improvements made consistently over many years can produce results that once seemed impossible. The journey toward financial growth does not begin with a huge leap. It begins with small steps taken today and repeated again tomorrow. At the end of the day, growing your money is not about discovering some magical shortcut or secret formula. Real financial progress usually comes from small habits repeated consistently over time. Many people underestimate the power of small changes. Saving a little more each month, paying closer attention to spending, or learning more about how money works may not feel dramatic in the moment, but over time, those small actions begin to build momentum. Think of it like planting a seed. At first, nothing seems to happen. The ground looks exactly the same day after day, but beneath the surface, something important is happening. The seed begins to grow roots, and eventually that small seed turns into something much bigger. Money works in a very similar way. The habits you build today can slowly shape your financial future. The earlier you start building those habits, the more powerful their effect becomes over time. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, focus on taking small steps forward. Track your spending, build your savings little by little, and keep learning about how money works. Those simple habits, repeated consistently, can eventually create results that once seemed impossible. Remember, financial growth is not about being perfect. It's about making steady progress and staying consistent. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to the channel for more videos about personal finance, money habits, and building a stronger financial future. And if you want to understand one of the biggest reasons many hardworking people struggle financially, you can watch the video on your screen now. Why hardworking people stay stuck in the debt trap. That video explains how debt and financial pressure trap millions of people in a cycle that feels impossible to escape. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.